Hello and welcome to Jason's Sports Show. I'm here with my friend Austin Callahan. How you
Hello.
doing? How you doing, Austin?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right.
It's a Friday afternoon. Today we'll be talking about basketball. So just diving right in, some headlines for the NBA. Derrick Rose has been cleared to play, but but his long-awaited turn to the line won't occur until he can confidently dunk off his left foot. Uh, So if we're talking about the Bulls here, does Derrick Rose need to come back this season for the Bulls to be successful?
Nope.
You don't think that Derrick Rose needs to come back? Do you think that Kurt Heinrich and all these other guys can hold their own against all these other East teams?
Yeah, but mainly I just believe that Derrick Rose should strengthen his leg more and get it back and recover.
So you're saying they should wait for Derrick to be much more healthy so that next season they can return to the elite form we've been seeing from the Bulls the last 2 seasons.
Yep, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay, that's some great insight. Um, there's a lot of controversy between Dwight Howard and his comments. I'll cover that by myself right now. He said he was talking about how that Orlando Magic team he was on uh, was just a bunch of misfits, and he was the leader of all of them, and he had to deal with that. Howard says that Coach Van Gundy still supports him, and he says he never meant there to be any disrespect towards his Magic teammates, but with his current reputation right now, I don't think he can sink any lower. Okay, some news, some games from last night. As we watched the Thunder coming to MSG. Even though J.R. Smith scored 36 points, the Thunder win by 1 point, as J.R. Smith, despite his very excellent play last night, still did not come up in the clutch situation. What are your thoughts about this game and what in the coming and going into this playoff run for the next?
I think during this game, J.R. Smith had a good game, but I think towards the end he got a little overconfident. That's why he took that last shot. Pretty bad shot selection, fade away over hand in his face. Uh, Dealing with the Knicks in playoffs, I think they're gonna make a good playoff run.
You
They're a
think
pretty strong team.
you think they're going to win their first? I don't have the specific statistic, but you think they're going to win their first? Do you think they're going to win their first playoff series in what is it, 20 years or something like that?
Maybe they might win it this year though.
I'm talking about this year, yeah, the
Yeah.
playoffs this year. Okay, so that being said, the other game, unfortunately, Clippers go into Denver and lose due to what some might call the altitude of Denver. Do you think that this is a warning sign for the Clippers, or do you think this is just another loss?
It's just another loss. It's pretty hard to play in Denver considering the altitude and the air is thinner. So those guys are used to playing up there. They're conditioned, and we just weren't.
Yeah, Clippers kind of underperforming, but that happens some nights with all great teams. Clippers will be playing, I believe, it might be Sunday. They'll probably be playing the uh, the Detroit Pistons. Yes, it's Sunday. The Clippers will be playing Detroit Pistons. The Nuggets are 27-3 at home. And since I have my friend Austin here, we're gonna play a little game called True or False. I give him 10 statements, one by one. We'll talk about each one of them and his opinion on them. So, first off, true or false, Austin? Heat are the best team in the East.
True.
What makes you say that?
They're defending their title right now. They're playing at a top level. LeBron James is just he deserves so much credit for what he's done for that team. He's just scoring consistently. Same with Dwayne Wade, Mario Chalmers, Chris Bosh. All the guys on that team contribute, and just a well-rounded team. Have a lot of chemistry.
You think they have the best starting lineup with Chalmers at the one, Wade at the two, James at the three, Batty at four, and Bosch at the five? Do you think that's the best lineup probably in the NBA right now?
Uh, maybe not. The only weak link I find in that lineup is probably Battier.
Well, I'm going to stop right there. Battier is a good defensive player. Let me tell you something. The Heat are a great team, and on the floor they need at least one good defensive player. I believe that Shane Battier provides that because you already get the scoring out of Chalmers, Wade, and James, and you get the rebounding out of Bosch. So defensively and strategically, the reason for going to Battier would be to guard guys like Ibaka, Griffin, uh, some cases some might say Gasol, but I think Shane Battier is a good fit there.
All right.
Anyways, next topic: the Lakers will make the playoffs.
Nope. False.
Well, here's a
Even
little.
I know they're not going to make the playoffs.
Oh, okay, and that's our friend Bonnie. You may remember her from a couple of shows ago when we did some baseball coverage. Let me tell you something about the Lakers. The Lakers are only like 2 games out. So what? I don't understand why some people might say they may not make the playoffs. The weakest link in the playoffs, in my opinion, the weakest playoff team is Utah. Now,
Utah Jazz.
Austin can attest to this. We've been to 2 Clipper games where Utah has come into the building. One time they stay competitive for most of the game, and the second time they just flat out lost. So Utah, in my opinion, does not have the tools necessary to win. They don't have a point guard. Mo Williams doesn't play well enough to be considered even in the top 20 point guards in the league. Randy Foye can do some damage sometimes, but Millsap and Jefferson are the best scorers on that team. Um, some might argue there's other great players on that team, like such as like Hayward. I forgot his name. Comes off the bench. Gordon Hayward. Yeah, Gordon Hayward's also a pretty good shooting guard. I remember me and Austin saw him score like 20 points at Staples.
Yep.
But that's Utah. So the only way the Lakers make the playoffs, in my mind, is that they have to overcome Utah, which might not be that hard of a task. Number 3, LeBron James is going to win another MVP.
Yes, he will. LeBron James is the best player in the world in my mind.
Michael Jordan.
He doesn't play anymore.
So, that being said, following up question, true or false, LeBron James is at his prime right now. Or is his prime still coming?
His prime's still coming. He hasn't reached the top.
Okay, that's reasonable. I can agree with that. I like Chris Paul for the MVP spot, but with him missing so many games, I don't believe that that's possible. So that leads us to our 4th question, which is completely irrelevant to the MVP talk. Now, San Antonio is still a great team, still leading the West by at least 2.5 games. Tony Parker, I'm sure you're aware of his work.
Yep.
Do the Spurs have a success without him?
I think they can be a good team without him, but they're a lot stronger, a lot more of a threat to other teams with him on the team, considering him being a scorer and able to lead the team to victory.
The team of veterans, some have nicknamed the retirement crew, but so much for retirement crew, they've only lost 14. So, number 5, and this has to do with the West too, Oklahoma City can go into the playoffs and win the West with ease.
Maybe, maybe not. They have to overcome San Antonio. They're both really strong teams.
So you're saying you're the only threat is San Antonio.
And the Clippers.
So, okay, I get your reasoning. Even though the Clippers got swept from the season series, but that's irrelevant because anything can happen in the playoffs. Okay, I'm pretty sure you're aware of the Heat's 16-game winning streak.
Yep.
Okay, do you believe, true or false, that the Heat's winning streak will go on for more than 25 games?
False.
Okay, so let me do something real quick for you, Austin. I want you to point out the exact game you think the Heat will lose. They play the 76ers tonight. I believe they play the 76ers tonight. I do believe they play the Pacers next. They play Pacers on Sunday. So this is 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So what between here and tonight, which game will they lose?
I'm gonna take.
I think
I'm thinking Milwaukee.
you're thinking Milwaukee. There's
I'm
an
thinking
obvious
Milwaukee.
there's an obvious choice right now. I know you can see it. It's March.
It's not gonna be Boston.
You don't think You don't think the Heat can go? You don't think that Boston will defend their home paint? The proud green pride leprechauns and Celtics, and you don't think they're gonna beat the Heat to end that winning streak at like 23 games?
I do not think they will beat the Heat, even though I'm a big fan.
You're a big fan, and we'll get to the Celtics soon. But there's also an interesting statistic about the Heat when they play these Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks, keep in mind, have two great shooting guards in Monte Ellis and Brandon Jennings, and as Austin said, they are 1-1 tied in the season series. So it is possible for Milwaukee to pull off a win. So moving on, Damian Lillard, pretty much a guy who's on the tongues of a lot of NBA analysts as one of the best players this year. Is overshadowed Kid Gilchrist, guys like Anthony Davis, Austin Rivers, a lot of these guys. So is he the Rookie of the Year?
He might be. He might be.
Think so?
I also think on the Boston Celtics, Jared Schollinger has been a big impact for us.
He's earned his respect, I think, around the league. That's my opinion. Okay, personal question here. Clippers can make it past the second round.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
So that's assuming they somehow beat Golden State, and I do believe they would be playing the number one seed. No, wait, that's not true. They would be playing either Oklahoma City or Houston in the playoffs. So they would have to be Golden State, a team that's beaten them 3 times this year, and a team that's also beaten them 3 times this year. So possibly they can make it past. So J.R. Smith, you saw last night, proved his point as in his candidacy as a Sixth Man of the Year. Do you think that he could be Sixth Man of the Year?
Possibly, yeah.
Sixth Man of the Year. He's a great player, and well, that being said, he might have a chance at Sixth Man of the Year.
But there is also a lot of Clipper players.
Yeah.
You guys' bench is so well developed.
Jamal Crawford, Matt Barnes, just to name a few. Eric Bledsoe, maybe? I'm not sure. Okay, this one you might like. True or false? The Celtics have a future after this season. Now, when I say future, I mean they can trade away people and still have a manageable roster that can make the playoffs. Do you believe?
Depends on who we trade off. I mean, really, we're in like a rebuilding stage right now. We need some new players to come in to run with Rondo and the new guys.
Interesting thing about Rondo, I don't remember if this is on the page, but I saw this article that the Celtics are red hot with Rajon Rondo, and was he holding them back?
Oh, definitely not. I don't think he was. I think since he's been gone, yeah, we've been winning, but if he was here, he'd be dishing more assists, getting his triple doubles every game, doing his thing.
Do you think he brings an attitude problem to the Celtics?
Yeah. Rajon Rondo's always had an attitude problem.
I'm not sure of the starting lineups usually. If you could trade any of these guys, assuming Rondo's in this position, which one would you trade, Brandon Bass or Courtney Lee?
Courtney Lee.
You don't think he brings that much to your team?
No, I think Brandon Bass brings more to my team than Courtney Lee.
All right. It might be easy. It might be early in the season, but it's never too early to predict. So we'll play a little game here. We're gonna predict the playoff series. Now keep in mind, Austin, we'll just keep this in mind. The number one, the winner of this one plays the winners of these series, and so on and so forth. So let's start. If the season was to end today and playoffs started, who wins the San Antonio versus Utah series?
San Antonio versus San Antonio.
And how many games?
4.
You think that'll be the second year in a row where someone gets swept out?
Yep.
Okay. Utah versus Houston.
Utah versus Houston.
James Harden versus his old team.
You mean the Thunder?
Thunder.
Okay. I think the game will go up to 6, but the Thunder will eventually take it.
Okay. This one's a little bit too personal for me because it has to do with the Clippers. I'll let Austin take this over. Los Angeles versus Golden State,
The Clippers will take it.
despite the 3-1 record.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know what my friends Robert and Brandon would think about that. My friends from San Francisco, who love the Golden State Warriors, and I kept on telling them that Clippers are still better. But let's let the game speak for themselves, shall we? So this is an interesting series. Memphis versus Denver. Memphis, obviously, the actually I would not say that. Memphis, the 4th seed, has home court advantage. But what happens if Denver gets home court advantage? Let's just assume the standings stay as they are. Who wins the series?
The Denver Nuggets.
Even if they don't have home court advantage.
Yep.
Okay. How many games?
7.
Wait.
7 games.
Well, wait, I forgot to ask you for the Clippers series. How many games?
6.
6. Okay. Miami versus Milwaukee. Milwaukee can put up a fight, but how many games does the Heat win? Let's be honest.
Miami takes the series in a 5-game series.
Okay, so I'm looking at a Bucks win at home in Game 4, the
Yeah.
start off elimination. Oh, here we go. Knicks versus Boston. Let's assume that Carmelo Anthony and Amare Stoudemire are going against Boston. This is going to be the sour taste that they have to get that sour taste out of their mouths that they faced in 2011. So who wins that game? Who wins that series?
I'm going to have to go with the Knicks winning that series.
With all their superstars and all.
Yeah.
Indiana versus Chicago. Let's look at the stats. Obviously, Indiana's a better team, but what if D Rose comes back?
If D Rose comes back, it's still going to be the same outcome. The Pacers are going to take it.
5, 6 games?
Yeah, 5 or 6 games.
Okay. And another interesting series, Joe Johnson of the Brooklyn Nets will have to face his former team in the playoffs. But hold on, Josh Smith of the Hawks is going to be leaving after this season. Does Josh Smith go all out to make this season memorable, or does he just say whatever and hope that he can get traded as soon as possible?
Oh, yeah, he's going to go all out, I think. No player has that mindset of just giving up.
Yeah.
A win's a win. Championship's a championship no matter what team you get it with. They're all you're going to be your friends and teammates.
Sure. Okay, so second round. San Antonio will be facing the Nuggets. So who wins that series?
San Antonio,
In
5.
Okay. Looks like there's no attitude for the altitude.
Nope.
Okay. Another one. Clippers and the Thunder. Who wins this series and how many games?
I'm going to say, I don't really know who's going to win this, but I know it's going to be a 7-game series for sure.
7-game series, assuming the Clippers are fully healthy and the Thunder are fully healthy. Folks, you can't count any team out of the playoffs despite the fact they got swept in the season series. So, moving on. The Heat will be taking on the Hawks?
Yep.
Okay, but the Hawks, I do not believe they'll put up a fight. How many games do you think the Heat will win?
4.
4. Just straight sweep. Atlanta has to go into a rebuilding stage.
Yep.
So, New York versus Indiana. The battle of the heavyweights, as some might call it. Who wins this series?
I'm going to say New York.
Superstars and all. And let's say 7 games?
6.
6 games. Oh, very well then. Okay. The conference finals. The Clippers or Flash Thunder will be taking on. Let's just say the Thunder, because we can be honest here. Thunder versus San Antonio. Rematch of last year's conference finals. Do we see the Thunder win it? Or do we see the Spurs trying to make one last run at that finals title?
I'm going to have to go with the Thunder on this one.
In 6 or 7?
7 games.
Tough series. But San Antonio, never know. San Antonio is a bunch of old men, but they do have experience. So, it comes down to this. New York and the Heat.
I think
Now,
the Heat are going to take this.
in how many games?
5 games.
Really?
5
The
games.
the Knicks beat the Heat a few times this season already, but you saw that game. It was last Sunday. So, well, good folks. You can turn your TiVos on because you're not watching anything new. It's gonna be the Heat and the Thunder again in the finals. And what's the call, Austin?
I'm saying the Heat are going to take another championship.
Do you think it will be in 5 games, or do you think it might be less?
It's going to be in 7 games.
In 7 games, the Thunder are gonna want them to fight for it.
Yep.
So there you have it, Austin Callahan's straight prediction. That's interesting. We'll be back after this commercial break talking about football to end the show. All right,
Rams.
we are back on the show. We're back on the show. Okay, so just a quick bunch of quick updates about NFL. We'll just discuss Brett Hardline back with the Dolphins, signs a 5-year contract, nearly $31. He's a wide receiver. He helped
$31 million.
$31 million. $31 would have been really bad.
He would have been basically playing for free.
Yeah, but Hardline, is he really worth $31 million? Let's look at his stats. In his career, he has 6 touchdowns. Yeah, you heard it, 6 touchdowns. Now, I picked up this guy on my fantasy team, hoping for something good last season, and he just brought me sad. He just brought me disappointment. This guy came in the league in 2009 and has disappointed since. Well, some might argue he's not disappointing. His breakout year basically was this year and his rookie year. So, the guy with average of 15 yards per catch, but only 6 touchdowns, is he really worth that money?
I don't think he's worth that money.
You think
No way.
you think they should have signed him for $31 million, but a longer term?
Not even $31 million. Like, just get rid of him if he has only 5 career touchdowns.
But he was the leading receiver for the team. Do you think they could do better?
Oh yeah.
Now, I'm gonna go off a little bit topic about Miami for a second. I think a lot of people have forgotten that well, they have a good quarterback. They have Ryan Tannehill, which a lot of people don't remember he still plays football. They don't remember he plays football. Ryan Tannehill is a great player. He's just injured. Hey, that's enough about that. Quick stuff about Joe Flacco. $120.6 million in a deal to Baltimore this week. But is he worth the money?
No, he is not worth that much
So you
money.
don't believe the reigning MVP for the Super Bowl was not worth that much money?
Like I said, Jason, he's no Brady, no Rodgers, no Breeze.
Do you
He's
think if he wins
Flacco.
the championship next year, does he prove his worth?
If he wins another championship consecutively to this year, maybe. Yeah, he's possibly proving his worth.
Okay.
Considering they lost a lot of defensive players, including the great Ray Lewis.
Yeah. Update about Ray Lewis. They're gonna build a statue for him in front of was it MT&T Stadium, Bank Stadium. So that should be interesting. So that's all we have for today. Pretty good show today, I think. Hopefully, I'll be back on the air next week. I don't know who's gonna be my guest on my show, if I even have a guest, but hopefully you'll listen in. So thank you all for joining us. Have a great day.